Hey guys, 24th of May. I was going through some of my comments on some other videos, and I had a viewer ask me if I ever found tools that remove bark from poles and shafts. He said he thought he had some things, and he was just really curious about of that, and I replied back that yes, I do have some. And so I thought I'd do a little tutorial kind of video today and show you a little bit about the tools that I have that actually remove bark from shafts and poles. So we've got kind of two little sections here. This one is going to be more for the shafts and arrow shafts and spear shafts, but I'll show you how these tools, what these tools look like and how they were used. This is a Blackstone piece here, real hard, highly crystalline type of stone. And what they'll do here is they'll leave this little lip on the bottom here, and that kind of stabilizes the shaft when it runs through this notched out area here, this chipped out area. And they leave it kind of rough in there so that it does a good job with removing the bark. But that's a good example, and that would be used probably primarily for arrow shafts from removing bark. It's polished down. You can see it's stained on the sides. And really nice little tool there. Probably these two here of this type of bark removing tool are the two best examples that I have. Probably need to get them down to the museum, but this got a little bit of, you can see where this has got an inclusion through this stone, but this was actually worked out of this stone, this end here, and used for removing bark from shafts. You can see the staining. Very similar type tool, for this one here. Just put some pressure on it, on that shaft, and then it'll take that bark off really nice, and also small knots. I've actually tried these on some shafts of wood that I've left the bark on, and they do real well. Similar tool here. See how it's almost serrated in there. So run that stone over those shafts and take those knots and bark off. This piece here is actually is used so much, it's the shafts have kind of gone into the stone there. You can see where it's kind of worn the stone down. The one here made of black stone, a little bit different. This actually has a natural bend in the stone, but this little piece was made. You see the sides were all polished and stained where they held it on the sides. All this is polished. This whole piece is polished down pretty nice. Just run that over the shafts. It's a little bit different, something a little different here. See the staining in there. air shafts. Sure on this one, chipped out in the back, been polished. Getting over here, we're getting into some debarkers that were used for probably structural purposes. The reason why Native Americans removed bark off their poles that they used for structures was they were twofold. Once you got the bark off, bark just tended to retain moisture and also insects, and the poles would not last near as long if you remove the bark off of them. So that was something that they did a lot when they were building their structures in this area. They were sedentary. They were almost all agrarian cultures right in here for the last couple thousand years, and so they didn't move a lot, and they wanted their structures to last a while. And by taking a bark off, that would really help the poles dry out a lot better, and the structures would just last a lot longer. But these are some big pieces here. These would be used by both hands. This is a quartzite piece here. Oops, sorry. They're heavy. So this would be for big structures. It's probably about 3 to 4 inches across there. And this is a granite piece here. Real coarse, does a good job of taking the bark off kind of in quick order. That's another piece here. Real coarse, almost like sand paper. This was really stained. And this is a recent find I had here. Granite, real coarse granite. Just hold this piece here in their fingers and just rub this across the poles and strip that bark. And here's the last piece I've got here. You see here where this thing was polished and held and was staining. Anyway, guys, I thought I would kind of show this individual what I had, and hopefully this will help out with him understanding how these tools were made and what they were used for and why. I hope you guys have a good Memorial Day coming up, and as always, I hope you're doing well. We'll talk with you later.